I've often been asked what to do if you do a door or a panel that needs safety glass, or 6.38 safety glass on the small W profile, which we on this stage I've designed only to take 3 to 4 millimeter glass. Now obviously the 6.38 or the 5mm safety glass won't fit in here, but if you do use like a 4mm toughened glass, that will also suffice. The 6.38 however, or the 5mm however, will not fit into the 4mm groove. Now like on this stage, this is just normal 4mm glass. This is my WBL4 that is spray painted brown to match a frame, wood frame, natural wood frame, and as you can see it fits relatively easy into the 4mm onto the 4mm glass, so that's quite nice. However, if you have to do a door or a panel that requires safety glass, you must resort to using the frontal method on this stage. Now the frontal method on wood is a bit more finicky than the frontal method on steel because of the small dimensions that you must cater for. I've done on this door, I've done a few panels already, and I'm going to try to show you on this one panel the slow step-by-step method, and hopefully you'll be able to make out from that. The opening has been cleared and prepared. The glass is ready, 6.38 safety glass, as it should be for a door. I've pre-cut all my profiles, top and bottom, square, to fit exactly the opening. I've pre-cut the horizontal verticals, and as you can see, the one I've pre-cut to 45 degree already. Now on the W profile you can see there's a break-off groove which I've designed in to allow me to snap off that back piece to when you need to do a frontal, and it offers you a 45 degree angled flat profile, PVC profile. So I'm going to break off the total length here. Can be a bit tough on your hands. If it is too tough on your hands, you can use a normal knife. Safety obviously first, and by cutting down away from you, you can also split the profile with its back end, and there you go. Here's the two ends. Okay, now the back part, the L-shaped back part, you can see I position in such a way that it fits onto the frame with the top edge, a smooth top edge showing into the opening, and the bottom L is covering between the glass and the frame. Now obviously this is going to be too long, so I trim it. And quite easy to snip. Just test it for size. Perfect. So the one is down there, the other one is the bottom part of, or the door, the bottom of the door is that facing that way. So I'm going to, my orientation will always be, this is going to be the bottom horizontal, top horizontal, and two verticals. And I always start with my bottom horizontal because it's the top the verticals go over it overlaps from top to bottom, so water can flow off in a direction. Right, so this one is bottom, this is top, and this is my two sides. Right, this one I've pre-cut already. I can also assist with breaking off the back edge by using a plier or the cutter, any which way, to save your hands. I prefer using a knife, and obviously you've got to support the product away from you. The cutting must be done away from you, and it's quite easy to rip it like that. So you've got your bottom section, it goes in. This one will go like this, and then I'm going to prepare the other vertical. Now the vertical, always before I cut, I make sure that I orientate my profile correctly. The profile goes like this, where the glass slide in like that, so the opening groove, this groove at this one here, faces in towards the pane. So I know this one must be 45, so I angle it at 45, and don't know if you can see, but this the shears has been annotated, and there's a little extended 45 line alongside which I cut my angle it right on the edge, aim it right on the edge, show it from close. So there you go. The sharp point of the profile goes into the middle where the blade will come down to, and I aim it to that 45 line. Make sure that it aligns to that. Keep hands and feet and whatever clear, and it cuts. So now I've got the 45 at the bottom here, and yep. Just going to break this section off. After a while, it's kind of hard on the fingers. There you go. That one is prepared, and my back section that goes in the frame as the backing. You can also just put silicone and put your glass on there, but I like to do this. It offers a nice edge facing inside, and also it buffers between the glass and the profile. So I just want to make sure that I cut this one, trim this one correct. There we go. And lastly, my top side. Okay. It's a bit too long. There you go, perfect. So my top, sides and bottom is right, correct. My glass is prepared and clean. Just to prepare the top one as well. I know that the profile goes like this, and it will be mitered to go over, and I mark my direction of mitering like that. There it goes. So both are now very successfully mitered. Important to understand, the bottom one goes in tight fitting, the two verticals goes in on top of the bottom, but with a 2mm to spare. So you need to trim this off about where that is a tight measure. Then I trim another 2mm. The reason being, it goes over and on top of the bottom one for that water flow off. Let's test it for size. It's a bit too long still. See, there it goes. And this one, test it for size, still too long. There you go. And this one goes, if you tight measure, minus 3mm, because it's going on top of that one and on top of that one. Every time something goes on top of it, it steals that, the bottom one steals away from the length of the top one. So it needs to be a bit shorter, otherwise it won't mite it correctly. You can always test drive it. The bottom, the back trimming has been inserted. Put the glass in without silicone. So just to test drive, the bottom one goes in, then the top one on top of that, the vertical on top of that, vertical on top of that, and lastly the top. Now that's as perfect as one can get it. Here you can see the corners are meeting. This one, everything is now still loose, so corners are meeting perfect. Perfect. Now all it needs to be done is this must just be siliconed into place. Now the first silicone that I'm going to apply will be on the bottom part of the, with other words, the back fill or back beading. Put the glass on, and then to apply silicone there, and then put my profile that has been mited. Just to recap the length that I need to subtract. This is tight measure minus 3mm. You can see there's about it's a bit more, a bit less than 3mm. The verticals are tight measure minus 2mm. You can see there. And the bottom one goes in perfect into the corner and into the corner. So bottom, vertical, and the top one. So water flows down over that one, over there, down over there, and off. So there's no water flowing or retention in your profile. I'm going to do the silicone bit now. First remove the dry fit parts. This is my broken off back parts, and that I lay down as top of a gasket at the back. So the silicone is going to be a neutral cure silicone. It's Nu-Glaze, but you can use any other neutral cure, high quality neutral cure silicone. So I'm laying down a very thin layer of silicone continuously right around. And it's evenly spread. Then back gasket part, and if there are some silicone pressing out, that doesn't worry. You allow it to cure, and then you cut it off very nicely and exactly, precisely. all four parts have been now laid down. In other words, the bed for the glass has now been prepared. Now for the glass. Yeah, the silicone goes as close as possible to that front edge of the gasket. So I really want that to be pressing out slightly when you seat the glass. That will give you a nice trimmed. Okay, the glass has been cleaned properly. Some pressure, and I can see it's seating everywhere, right across, right around. There's no bubbles, no possible air leakage or water leakage around there. It's seated perfect, and it spaces about 3 mm from that side, 3 mm from that side, 3 from the bottom and 3 from the top. So glass can have the expansion space that it needs, so it doesn't touch the frame itself. It's spaced evenly from the glass. Now I lay down the silicone in to seat the front beading. That is easy enough. It's just right into the corner. As you can see, nice beading of continuous silicone. Make sure that it fills the gaps. There you go. And yeah, like I said, bottom one first goes, press it down nicely and firmly. Then the verticals, doesn't matter which one first, verticals, press it down. And if there's a little bit of silicone protruding, doesn't matter, you're going to cut it off later. Don't smear it to clean it now, it's not necessary, and it messes your frame from painting later on. Press it down very nicely, make sure that it seats, and then the top horizontal, and it seats. There you go, and that's it, done. Now you can see, hopefully, that there is some silicone at the bottom between the gasket and the glass. That I allowed to cure, and then I cut it off, trim it off very nicely. There is some silicone protruding at the top there, which I'm going to leave. There's a perfect seal between the profile and the glass, and the profile and the wood, right around, and the corners are picture perfect. No ingress of water. It seals water, wind, dust and burglars. You cannot remove this installation without breaking the glass. That's critical, important key feature of using Nu-Glaze, is the safety and security factor. Yeah, and I'm going to continue with this until the whole door has been done. So yeah, I hope this was helpful